My background is that I suffered from many health problems, and it'll come up on one of the slides. I'll just go over it, but many of you know the background in that I suffered from bipolar disorder. They called it manic depression. I had terrible mood swings, suicidal ideation. I used to plan my suicide. The only thing that stopped me was my Sunday school teacher told me I'd go to hell. Now, I've since searched the Bible from cover to cover. It doesn't say that, but I'm very grateful to her that she told me that, because had she not, I wouldn't be here today, and I'm glad to be here because it's a privilege and an honor to be speaking to people about their health and wellness. It really is. And so why I'm telling you this is that on top of all of that, I came from a family where all the women over the age of 30 had thyroid problems and tended to be very overweight, some morbidly obese and some just pleasantly plump. And I was one of those pleasantly plump. The reason that I didn't carry an enormous amount of weight is I've always been very physically active and like to move around a lot and do a lot of things. And so that kind of kept it. But I was a sugar junkie. And at one point in my life, I was literally living on M&Ms or Smarties. They are basically little, tiny little, what do you call them? Little pebbles, little tablets of chocolate with bright colors on the outside. And in those little tablets of chocolates, I would find absolute pleasure. And I was living on that. And I was completely crazy. I was trashing the house and screaming and shouting and behaving like an idiot. When the doctor finally, when I collapsed and the doctor gave me a good checking out, she said, I believe that you're suffering from bipolar. You need to take a drug called lithium, and that will stabilize your mood swings because it'll correct the chemical imbalance in your brain. So having studied chemistry, I knew that if there was a chemical imbalance, there's got to be a way to correct the chemical imbalance. So there was a way for them, and that was to actually take this drug. I looked at the side effects. I wasn't concerned about the liver side effects. I wasn't concerned about the kidney side effects. I was, however, very concerned, or the heart side effects. I was very concerned about the fact that one of the side effects of lithium is that you put on weight. And I'm like, I'm not taking this drug. I've got to find another way around this. So I thought, well, at the same time, I read the book Sugar Blues, which I spoke about in the webinar on a healthy mind and healthy mental health. And I've shared that, and you can go and look at that webinar and see what it's like. But at the end of the day, I went and read this book, Sugar Blues, and it completely transformed my life. I stopped refined sugar. I started eating fruit. I started eating normal whole grains and foods and stuff. My brain got sorted out, and I started to put on a bit of weight. So it was finding this balance, having come from a family where most of the women, as I say, over the age of 30 were pleasantly plump to morbidly obese. It took a lot of work to try and find out how to live. And at the time that I was living on just sugar, I was actually very underweight. I was weighing about 15 kilograms, which is more than 30 pounds under what my normal weight should be for me. I was weighing 50 kilograms. I should be weighing somewhere between 60 and 65, probably 63 is the ideal. Gosh. So what I'm going to do is, while you're all coming in, I see some more people are coming in, and I'm just sharing my background, my testimony before I actually start. So I'm just giving it a couple more minutes. And from that point of view, my story is how I found how to get healthy. And what I found in the process of trying to get healthy, I found that, like most of us do eventually, that really the weight loss industry is absolutely enormous. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to start the presentation, take a look at it, and go to share screen, and there it is, and get to my screen, and we're going to take a look. Give it another minute, another second. There we go. Alrighty, now I need to go back that way. Sorry. Let's go back to the very beginning. Wrong way. All right. There we go. Right. That's how far I was in the presentation before I found that nobody was in the Zoom room. So my apologies. Tech stuff happens. As long as it doesn't all shut down, we're fine. So, perfect weight. Is there such a thing? And if so, how do you attain it? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. I already told you my story as how I was more concerned about my weight than I was concerned about what the bipolar was doing to my brain and everything else. What I found out when I got into the whole diet industry, and I remember being on the Mayo Clinic diet when I got married, which was chicken with no skin, boiled eggs, celery, and tomatoes. And I lost an enormous amount of weight, but I couldn't live like that. It wasn't healthy. I had been on every just about a Beverly Hills diet, and these are going back, Scarsdale diet and Atkins diet, and done them all. Eaten bacon with peanut butter and what was it? Bacon, cheese, and peanut butter. I could eat that on the Atkins diet, and I loved it. But that's where my cellulite problem got really out of hand. And so we're going to take a look at how do you get to a place where your body is the right weight for your genetic makeup. But let's first look at the industry. It's enormous, okay? This business of weight is enormous. This is a Globe Newswire. It's from March 2022, and it's based on the United States weight loss market in 2022. Now, statistics are changing all the time. So whatever's on the mirror in 2024, it's bigger than what I'm telling you now already. We know that the weight loss market was estimated to have declined by 25% during 2020, during the lockdown, during COVID. And it dropped to 58 billion US dollars, not 58 million, 58 billion. And it's come up in 2021 to 72.6 billion, which is nearly where it used to be before. But I'll tell you now, we're in 2024, it's probably over 75 billion by now, heading very fastly towards 200 billion. It is big business. This is an article to investors. It's to people who are investing in things, okay? It's really all about the money. It's an overview of the weight loss market, the size and the market segments only in the United States. This is not incorporating the whole world. I don't know why it's jumping back. The summary, something to do with the mouse. Size of the US weight loss market, it talks about this. It talks about diet trends, intermittent fasting, the GOLO diet, the paleo diet, the Tom Brady diet, the keto, the mind diet, the plant-based, the prolo. We all been on so many diets, otherwise you wouldn't be here today. We've been on so many diets. Investment in diet companies by private equity firms. That's what this is all about. It's about the money. It's an industry. Then it talks about the health clubs industry and how much damage was done during COVID when they all shut down, and the effects of the pandemic and the industry performance and the market data forecast. It's all about the money, money, money. Commercial weight loss programs. Full year 2020, 2021 sales performance for the major firms. WW, which is Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, Medifast, Profile, Sanford, and the total mark in 2022 diet season outlook. I mean, diet season outlook. They actually talk about it. Like, you know, what is the fast food season outlook? What is the diet food? What is the pharmaceutical season outlook? What is happening in this industry in this financial season? Let's invest or not invest. It's all about money. Key metrics for average brick and mortar retail weight loss centers. It's ridiculous. This is one report. There's hundreds out there about this, okay? And then there's the medical. In this report is a section on the medical weight loss programs. Part of the business profile, but medicine's supposed to help people. To a certain extent, yes, but it's big money. It's big business. The summary in 2020 to 2021 status report and summary for all medical program segments, mixed types of medical weight loss programs. Discussion on the pandemic affected operations of hospitals, MD and clinics, weight loss programs. It's all about the money. We are all losing. The world is losing big time. They're just not losing the weight. We're losing money. Tons of it. Tons and tons, billions of it is being lost. We hand over our money because we want somebody to just give us a pill, give us, something, and just you'll lose weight magically. In fact, there are so many drugs now that have come out. Recently, one of the pharmaceutical companies brought a drug out for weight loss, but there were such bad side effects that when the market heard about it, their share price dropped by a whole 2%. They're like, whoa, don't touch them, they're weight loss drug. But then other companies, when their weight loss drugs have come out, people are losing enormous amounts of weight. There are side effects, but they're just pushing aside. It's not that many. There are not that many side effects. It's just not that many. But you don't know what kind of research they're actually doing. And their share price has gone up. And that's what you'll see on any stock exchange around the world. In those top 10 companies, the best companies in the world, you are likely to find at least one pharmaceutical company, if not more. This is the market, the diet drug markets, the weight loss, bariatric surgery market. That's surgery to remove some part of your digestive tract so that you can't absorb your nutrients. And then you end up not being able to absorb things like fat-soluble vitamins, vitamins A, D, E, and K, and you end up having huge problems with your endocrine system, your skin, your membranes in your body, but all to lose weight. I was no better. I was just living on sugar and nothing else, and I was skinny, and I was just kind of happy and crazy there. Well, I wasn't happy. I was crazy and skinny. Okay, it's like an obsession with it, and part of the reason is because we can see it. We can see we're overweight. It's like our skin. We'll spend an enormous amount of stuff on our skin and on trying to lose weight because those are the things we see when we look in the mirror, and that's what other people see, and we want other people to see good things. We're not concerned about how much cancer is growing inside our body. We're not concerned about what state our mind is. It's just as long as this needle budges on the scale and we weigh at least 10 pounds less or 5 kilograms less, whatever it is. Okay, there's retail meal replacement and appetite suppressants market. There's a virtual dieting weight loss apps, the diet soft drinks and artificial sweeteners market, frozen diet dinner, entrees, and low-cal foods. This is just talking about sections of this industry. That's what it's doing. The reality is, if diets work, people would be getting thinner, and they're not. They're not getting thinner because obesity is nearly tripled since I was in grade 12 in 1975. It's nearly tripled. And in 2016, more than 1.9 billion adults 18 years and older were overweight. Of these, 650 million were obese. 39% of adults and 18 years and over were overweight in 2016, and 18% were obese. That's the World Health Organization statistics. A new report by the World Obesity Federation. There are all kinds of organizations all over the world managing obesity and weight issues. And you'll see one of the reasons for it is that it's not just obesity. You may be here today saying, well, I'm not overweight, I'm underweight. We're going to talk about it, but there are health risks on both sides. And what we've got to do is we've got to find that balance. We're going to get there, okay? A new report by the World Obesity Federation has said that more than half of the world's population will be obese or overweight by 2035. That is at least 3.5 billion people. There's 7 billion people on the planet right now, roughly. Half of them are going to be obese or overweight. That is shocking. And you know what? There's this whole culture that's arisen where we in sort of the woke movement where you can't fat shame people. It's not about fat shaming people. It's helping people to get healthy. Because it doesn't matter whether you're underweight or overweight, you're at risk for all kinds of diseases. The Federation's 2023 Atlas predicted that childhood obesity levels would more than double over the next 12 years to around 208 million boys and 175 million girls. We have a small school with about 50, 60 children in it, going from ages 3 to grade 12. And I see year after year, we get children that are pretty overweight, and the parents that come here want their kids to get healthy. It's fascinating to see them arrive at school. Some of the kids can hardly walk. And within 2 weeks of being back at school and eating a healthy diet and doing a lot of movement and just their heads being busy and active and outdoors instead of in front of a television screen, these kids have started to lose weight and they're able to move more comfortably. It's amazing to see. So why? Why do we kind of buy into this industry? Why do we spend our money on an industry that clearly is making no difference? In fact, things are getting worse, as I say. 3 times more obesity than when I left school in grade 12. 3 times more people are overweight. And I'd say it's because we're caught up in the ease of convenience. It's just so easy to grab something on the go, and you don't have to make food from scratch. You don't have to grow your food anymore. We've also lost the ability to think independently. We don't think. We just like looking at these adverts and we just buy what people are selling us because we're not thinking anymore. And the more we're eating food that we're not designed to eat, the less efficient our brain works, the more we depend on the system that's not working, that is broken. And we're just going round and round. Mark used to say, you're either spiraling up or spiraling down. Well, we're spiraling down with this weight loss and this weight issue. As I said, it's not just weight loss, it's weight gain as well as an issue. We've handed over the responsibility of our own wellness to corporations, to doctors and systems. That's what we've done. Instead of saying, this is my body, I am responsible for my body, I must look after my body, we said, my body belongs to the pharmaceutical industry. My body belongs to the doctor. My body belongs to the diet organization. And we become totally dependent on them. We don't stop for a minute and think, Nothing's changing. So one woman that I remember speaking to, she must have been 30% overweight at least. She was in the obese category. And she was spending a lot of money on supplements and diet things, enormous amount of money. In today's terms, probably about $3,000 a month. It was a lot of money. And I said to her, why don't you just follow these basic principles and then you can save all that money? You can take that money and put it aside and you could go on an amazing holiday every single year, at the end of every year. And you probably have change left over. And she said, I'm too scared to. And I said, but you just told me nothing's improved. You haven't lost weight. Your health has deteriorated. She said, I'm too scared to stop all of this in case things get much worse. And that's because we've stopped thinking. We're so dependent on a system that we don't think. It's like common sense is no longer common. You can't find it. It's not, common sense used to be something that was just practical. You used your brain, you thought about it, and then you laughed at yourself and you said, I'm doing something stupid. Let me just be practical here. We're getting bigger in size and our bank accounts are shrinking. Junk foods are easier and cheaper. People will say to me, it's so expensive to eat healthy. It's not if you follow seasons and you eat what's in season and you buy things locally. It's not. It's when you start looking for superfoods and imported stuff and complicated, complex things. That's when it starts becoming expensive. Health should cost you less, not more. Searching for a healthy weight should cost you less, not more. And we look at the top 10 diets, and I found this fascinating because they're actually moving in the right direction, and people are finally making sense. These are 8 top nutritional experts, dietitians, and doctors around the world that have decided, they've got together and decided that these are the top 10 diets. The Mediterranean diet, which is made up of fresh produce, which is vegetables and fruits and legumes and grains, whole grains, and fish and extra virgin olive oil. That's a very important part of it. And then there's the DASH diet, which is grains, fruit and vegetables, meat, poultry, and fish, and low salt. A lot of people complain that the food is tasteless on that one. Flexitarian, which is fresh produce, legumes, whole grains, dairy, eggs, occasional animal flesh. Weight Watchers, which is fresh fruit, non-starchy veg, lean animal protein. That's leaning towards high protein. But there's a lot more fruit. In the old days, Weight Watchers didn't allow you much fruit. Whereas these diets today allow you a lot more because they've realized that fruit actually helps you lose weight. But we're going to get to that. The Mind diet, which is leafy greens, berries, and whole grains. It just sounds really restrictive, but they say your brain works better. Vegetarian, which is fresh produce, grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Normal vegetarian actually includes dairy products and eggs. Noom diet, which is fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Then there's the New Mayo Clinic, which is flexible, higher protein, low carb. Pescatarian, fruit, veg, fish, dairy, and eggs. And the Ornish diet, which is fruit, vegetables, healthy fats. That's not fast, it's fats, whole grains, plant protein. Let's take a look and see. So how do you know what to do for you? And that's the big thing. There's all this stuff. There's all this commercial stuff coming. There's all these experts saying this. You look at this and you think, oh my word, which one should I follow? Who's right? And sometimes you just get so overwhelmed by it. You just sit down on your couch, put on a movie, and grab a chocolate bar and just like, can't cope with this. It's too much. Most of us are confused, conflicted, and overwhelmed. We don't know what to do. We don't know who is right. How can we judge? What do we know? We've never studied nutrition. What guidelines do we use? And why should we control our weight at the end of the day? Why not just be any weight we feel like? I mean, this weight shaming thing is just not on. I mean, that's wonderful to say, but the reality is that the risks associated with being underweight include osteoporosis and bone fractures, infertility and reproductive issues, developmental problems, a weakened immune system, malnutrition, and with that comes a whole lot of other things, including all these other diseases, increased risk of surgical complications, anemia, fatigue, dizziness, chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. But just in case you thought it was great to be skinny, it's not. A lot of people will say to people who struggle to put on weight, oh, you're so lucky. And they'll say, no, I'm not. I'm wanting to put on weight. When you weigh too little, and I know when I was underweight, I remember sleeping at night. I couldn't put my legs, I couldn't lie on my side comfortably because my knees would touch and they were so bony, they were hurting each other. My legs were hurting each other. So I had to lie kind of flat on my back or flat on my face, which wasn't comfortable. So it was kind of flat on my back, but I just never felt very comfortable sleeping. The health risk associated with being overweight: type 2 diabetes, infertility, high blood pressure, heart disease, certain cancers like breast, colon, and endometrial cancer, strokes, gallbladder disease, fatty liver disease, high cholesterol, sleep apnea and other breathing problems, chronic lower back pain, arthritis, osteoarthritis, particularly of the knees, not being able to handle the weight. So, to say somebody's fat shaming or weight shaming you, at the end of the day, there is a place where your body functions optimally, and it's not when you're underweight, and it's not when you're overweight. And I'm going to help you find that today, okay? It's essential for you to balance your weight, absolutely essential for you to get to a place where you're balancing your weight. Now, how do we do that? Let's look at the facts. Where are the least obesity and weight issues? What people are there in the world where there's no obesity and weight issues? Where are these people? Where are healthy people who have balanced weight? What we do know is people that eat the most natural, unprocessed foods and live a natural lifestyle are the healthiest and the fittest. And if we need to eat, we need to eat what we're designed to eat. The only problem is, how do we know what we're designed to eat? Well, we could do something like look at our closest relatives in nature. Let's look at the silverback gorilla, for example, the ape section of the animal kingdom. And if we look at them, they're eating mainly plant foods. Mainly plant foods. The silverback gorilla doesn't eat any animal products whatsoever, only eats a lot of fruit in their diet. They are known to be the strongest animal. Silverback gorilla can pick up a man or another gorilla and virtually toss them up to the length of the average football field. Now, that is really, really strong, okay? And that's on a fruit-mainly diet. And these are things that I discovered as I started to study. One of them was Dr. Bernard Mayer, who had studied a woman who lived entirely on fruit. Now, I'm not telling you to live entirely on fruit, but I'll get to that place in a little while, okay? Over 400 studies worldwide, published in recognized journals around the world, done by Oxford University, Cornell University, Beijing Academy of Sciences. Studies done all over the world for over a 30-year period of over 1 million people. It actually published in the New York Times in 1991. There was a huge article. Studies indict meat. And it actually said man is designed for a plant-based diet. Because when you're on a plant-based diet, there's way less obesity, there's way less heart disease, there's way less diabetes, way less arthritis, way more productive, and way better immune system. And I'll add to that is way better mental function. The brain function is more efficient. Definitely there's an improvement. So that's really the key, is if we looking at how we're designed to eat, we know that communities, we're going to look at more of them in a little while, communities around the world that eat the most plant food are the healthiest, and their weight is the most balanced. But here's the key, okay? If you focus on getting naturally healthy, your weight will become naturally healthy. That's the reality of it. Stop with this looking at your weight. Take the weight thing and just put it aside. Say, I'm going to focus on getting healthy. I know a very, very beautiful woman, and I'm not trying to put her down, but she was perfect. She was married to a famous world heart surgeon. She was tall, and she had this beautiful, dark, brunette hair. She was a stunning woman. And from every report I've ever read on her, everybody said she was the kindest, nicest person. Extremely wealthy. She came from a very well-educated background, married this world-famous person. They ended up divorced, and she married somebody else. But at the end of the day, I think she was 42 and she died of breast cancer. And everybody always went on about how wonderfully slim and trim she is, and how she looks like a model out of, Vogue magazine. She's just got such a perfectly, when people are very, very slim, clothes just hang on them perfectly. There's no curves anywhere, so nothing pulls out of order. And a lot of our clothes are designed for people that are incredibly slim. But that doesn't mean that you're incredibly healthy. And this is a very serious issue. We've got to stop focusing on our weight and start focusing on getting healthy. Stop with the weight loss. Focus on the health gain. Because as you gain your health, your weight will reduce or increase to where it's meant to be. Over the years of watching people, I have seen every single time when you move towards a whole food, plant-based eating program, you find that your body weight is balanced. It takes time. It can take up to 8 years. One particular girl that I worked with had been overweight her whole life. She said her father at the age of 18 had said to her, if you lose a certain amount of weight, I'll buy you a brand new car. When she turned 18, she got so mad, she just ate some more. She said, clearly her father doesn't love her. He thought he was motivating her. Good old-fashioned, motivation. I'll put a carrot in front of her and, encourage her to grab the carrot. She saw it as, he doesn't love me as I am. She struggled with her weight, and then she started studying her body and finding out how her body was designed to be fed, and she's changed her way of living, and she lost, I think, 30 or 40 kilograms, times by 2.2 to get to 2 pounds. And she's been slim and trim and incredibly healthy for the last, I'm thinking how long, at least 30 years that I've known her. It's been wonderful to see. And her entire life, she said, I was a fat baby, I was a fat kid, I was a fat in primary school, high school, fat student. I got married, I was overweight. I had babies, I was overweight. And she's just a standard size 34 or size 4. She just she looks amazing. And she's fit and healthy. She's not too skinny. She's just where she's comfortable. Doesn't weigh herself. So whether you're overweight or underweight, when you get healthy, it's going to regulate. And I mentioned Professor Bernard Mayer. He did a fascinating study on a woman called Essie Honeyball in the 1960s, I think it was. She had been suffering from a very severe form of tuberculosis. Today, if she had that form, they would say she was HIV positive because her immune system was not responding at all. She was so bad. She was underweight. She was crawling on her hands and knees. She was basically told she was dying. There was nothing they could do for her. Basically, palliative care, go home. And she met a man who was like, very kind of into natural living. And he said to her, I will feed you well. And he put her entirely on fruit, only fruit, no vegetables, avocados, and raw nuts and seeds. Absolutely no vegetables. That's what she ate for 14 years. And literally within the first year of doing this, she was able to actually walk and get around. She used to be a physical education instructress at schools. So she was physically very fit, and she was able to get back into her fitness. And so after 14 years of her living like this, he said he was fascinated by this woman because he'd never come across somebody who lived like this. And at the time, Professor Bernard Mayer was head of physiology at one of the universities here in South Africa, Pretoria University. And he decided to study her. And he did every possible test that was available in those days. Dynamometric test. It's muscle strength, energy levels. They did every conceivable test that was available. They could not fault her, not on her blood tests. Her iron levels were perfect. Her protein levels, 14 years. I'm not telling you to go and live on fruit, okay? It's your decision. If that's something you do, you've got to do it with wisdom. 14 years living on fruit, nuts and seeds, and avocados. Couldn't fault her iron levels, couldn't fault her protein levels, couldn't fault her calcium levels. Her blood levels were perfect. He said he'd never, ever come across such an incredibly perfect specimen, human specimen, ever. So what he did, which today would be considered very unethical, in those days it was research. They decided that they would do research on prisoners. And so they got a group of prisoners together and they put them onto a fruit, avocado, nut and seed program for a period of time. Interesting thing, they found that all the overweight people lost weight and all the underweight people gained weight. But they all said they had more energy, but he said it's very difficult to measure that precisely. They all said they were sleeping better. They all said they were feeling better. These are things he said you couldn't measure. Scientifically, they got to a place where they were incredibly healthy. But all the other mental, emotional, spiritual, and psychological wellness that came out of it was not something they could actually measure. But what they found is the foods they were eating, which traditionally people wouldn't eat, nuts and seeds and avocados, they're so fattening, we shouldn't be eating. These people just, their weight regulated. If they were overweight, they lost weight. If they were underweight, they gained weight. So just everybody regulated. So here was a key to one of the things that one of the keys to understand how we should be eating. that if you eat a certain weight and underweight people gain weight and overweight people lose weight, well, then that's the way to eat. Surely that's a direction we should be going in. Because if you've got to go on a diet to lose weight, but if an underweight person went on that, they'd lose weight, that's not good. A healthy diet that gets you to a healthy place. You will gain weight if you're underweight, and you'll lose weight if you're overweight, okay? So what's needed for health and balancing weight, okay? Fats. You need fats. If you don't get the right fats in your body, you are not going to be able to, your metabolism won't burn at the right rates, okay? The healthy fats are your things like your omega-3s and omega-6s, but you've got to find them in the right balance. Perfectly balanced omega-3s and 6s. You find lots of omega-6s in avocados, and nuts and seeds, tiny amounts of omega-3s. We tend to get overexposed to too much omega-6 because, you know, in the olden days when we were doing things ourselves, we would have to wait for the olives to grow and then they'd get ripe. We could do that with the green olives, and you could put them in a hand press and you would mechanically turn this big screw and you'd squeeze olive oil out, and you'd probably get, you know, several liters in a year, but it wasn't enough for you to go through a liter a month like most people do. And so you would be using tiny amounts of olive oil on a regular basis, as opposed to, oh, we can just go and buy the olive oil in your local supermarket and you can just spend money and you can just pour it all over everything. So we tend to overdose. So we need the right kinds of fats, but not too much. So they've worked out we need somewhere around a quarter to half a cup of raw nuts or seeds a day. And this is not and, it's all. So if you're going to have nuts and seeds and some of the others, you've got to reduce it all. You've got to use your common sense, the stuff that we've lost. This is going back, okay? So we need the right fats. The right fats are either a quarter to half a cup of nuts or seeds, 5 to 10 olives a day, or 1 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin oils on a daily basis. Most of that should be from flax oil if we can get it, because we're getting too much omega-6s in our diet. We've got to balance it with omega-3s. We need to make sure that we're getting the fats in the right, what are the other things? Nuts, seeds, olives, avocados, 1 to 3 avocados a day. So if you're going to have nuts and seeds in a smoothie like I do, then I might have a quarter to half an avocado a day. Some days I don't eat avocados at all, especially at the end of the season. The fat content goes up so high that I find they're too rich for me. I don't like eating them. I love the new season avocados when winter starts to come in, when the fall or the autumn comes in, new season avocados, and the fat content comes down, then I find them far more palatable. And the very important thing for you to learn, if I could teach you one thing today, is to learn to listen to your body. We've lost never mind common sense, we've lost the ability to listen to our bodies. Because when we were kids and we were trying to listen to our bodies and we didn't want to eat when we were sick, we were told you've got to eat to keep up your strength. And if you actually puked out the food because your stomach didn't want anything in it, you were given ice cream to try and get something into you. And I'm not criticizing our parents. That's how we were raised. That's what we did to our own kids. Because we've got to have something in. This thought of fasting and resting the digestive tract was just so foreign. Whereas in ancient times, if you didn't want to eat, you rested your digestive tract. So we need to learn to listen to our bodies. A craving for salty foods is a craving for more fats in your diet. A craving for sweet foods is a craving for more fruit in your diet. A craving for salty foods can sometimes be for green leafy vegetables as well, and you can put a bit of olive oil on it, which helps you absorb all the fat-soluble vitamins. So you have to have fats to help you absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K. You can't absorb them without fat. So you have the salad with greens in it and avocado. Wonderful. Or a little drizzle of olive oil, a little drizzle of flax oil. You're able to utilize the nutrients in the food. You've got to have the right fats. And the reason we need them to help us stabilize and correct our weight is because your metabolism is controlled by your endocrine system, which is controlled by the pituitary gland. It's the managing director, the CEO, or the COO, Chief Operating Officer of the entire endocrine system, which controls your body weight, your metabolism, your hormones, your liver, your lungs, your kidneys. But we're focusing on weight today. That endocrine system has to work properly. And without the right fats in the diet, the endocrine system will never work properly. So I make sure that I have about a quarter cup or about a quarter cup of nuts or seeds. I have that in. It's a closed handful is what I have. I close my hand. I put pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. I put that into my smoothie, which is just, oh, I love berries. So I'll do any frozen berries, fresh if I can, but frozen if not. I might put pineapple. Our original smoothie used to just be fresh pineapple, It used to be orange or apple juice. It used to be a handful of nuts and seeds, almonds, and that was basically it, with ice. You used to put in a lot of ice. But in those days, there was no frozen fruit around. Now there's a lot of frozen fruit. It makes it a lot easier. You can put in, gosh, dragon fruit and raspberries and blackberries and anything. Any fruit that you can put in there with I have a closed handful of raw nuts and seeds. That can keep me going almost all day. Later on in the day, either lunchtime or in the evening, I might have a salad with a bit of olive oil or some avocado. I find the two together at this time of the year too rich for me. I actually fish the avocado out and give it to my husband because the avocado is too rich for me. But if you learn to listen to your body, you'll know you'll feel slightly nauseous if you're taking in too much fat. But we've forgotten how to listen to that. That feeling where you're feeling uncomfortable in your stomach means your stomach's telling you to stop eating. Don't go past that. In fact, very good thing for you to remember, to know when you've had enough to eat at a meal, is that you will sigh. It's just a little sigh, like a, that's all it is. Now listen for that sigh, because when you hear that, if you want to regulate your weight, push your plate away from you and say, I've had enough. And learn how much you ate so that next time you dish up that amount or you cook that amount and not too much. If you grew up in a family like mine, I went to boarding school where nobody ever got enough food. I also grew up in a single family in an era when then nobody was single families. People were told not to play with us because my mother was divorced. It was just unheard of. We were the only kids in the school whose parents were divorced. And then there was another family in our street where the father wasn't around, but he had died. So that was a dignified way for a woman to be alone. But divorce was a no-no. So for us, I had a mother who worked night and day at 3 jobs just to put food on the table. And we had the sense that we were always starving. So when we ate whatever was on our plate and whatever else we could find. We never knew where stop was. We never knew if we were going to get food at the next meal. We didn't know that. So we would just eat and eat and eat, because in case there wasn't food at the next meal. So I got into the habit of overeating, as well as growing up with a mother that was working all the time, and I don't blame her. It's what she could do at the time. Her family ostracized her. They said, persona non grata, nobody in our family's got divorced. You're an immoral woman for divorcing. And they kind of withdrew. So there was no support for her at all. She did what she could with what she had. But there also wasn't this sort of nurturing part as in emotional. You know, my mother, I never remember, my mother never said I love you my entire life until I was in my 50s and she was getting on. She said to me, I do love you. And I had started telling my mother when I was married, I started telling her that I loved her, because we never said things like that. It was a different era. You know, I call it the Oprahfication of society. Everybody now tells their feelings and pours it all out. And there's good and bad sides to that. But part of the bad side is that everybody uses that as an excuse to not get on with their lives. We didn't talk about it. We just had to get on with our lives. We didn't even have therapy in those days. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but what it did do very often was made us grow up with eating issues, where we ate for emotional comfort, where we ate when we felt shamed. We ate when we were happy. We ate when we felt unhappy. We just ate too much all the time, okay? So we do need to listen to our bodies. Listen for that sigh. Sometimes I push past the sigh, and when I get to the third one, I know I've got to stop, because eventually your body just stops at about 4 or 5, and then you just start feeling uncomfortable, and then you need to go to bed with antacid medication and bicarb when you're desperate and you haven't got anything to take. So at the end of the day, listen to your body, okay? Your body's saying stop with the fat, stop, okay? We need sugar. Your body needs sugar, but not the kind that we've been eating, not the refined, processed, man-made stuff, the God-made stuff, the stuff that's found in an apple and a banana. And it's so terrible that people have been told don't eat fruit on these crazy diets out there. They're completely crazy. I read a lot of research from a lot of documents all the time. Stuff's coming into my email box. I subscribe to several organizations that do a lot of research and publish a lot of research in nutrition and in the medical field as well. And not in all my time of even when I'm looking for research, I've gone onto Google Scholar and I've looked for, eating fruit causes weight gain. Never, ever found it. In fact, complete opposite. People that eat the most fruit have the most regulated body weight. So people that eat the most candy and the most chocolates that might have the weight problems, but not the most fruit at all. you find that when you're eating a lot of fruit, if you're underweight, you're likely to gain weight, and if you're overweight, you're going to lose it, okay? And the studies also show that the people that eat the most fruit are also the ones that are least likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. So now one of our students, we have a natural health and nutrition course that people study so that they can know. When some people are passionate, want to know more about nutrition, and they do our natural health and nutrition course. And one of our students, Caroline, just recently qualified and graduated, and decided she wanted to do a study to see for herself how her body responded to various foods. So she put things into her body like rice, which she was told is a high glycemic index, you shouldn't eat it, and don't touch potatoes, and don't touch fruit. Do you know that her body didn't spike on potatoes that were boiled or baked in the oven? Didn't spike with fresh fruit at all of any kind. Even white rice was slightly higher than brown rice, but still didn't spike, was still within the healthy range. And I'm not telling you to eat white rice because there's not a lot of nutrient value in there other than carbohydrates. That all the stuff that she ate that was good, whether it was raisins or dates or nuts or seeds, beautiful, beautiful, between the range of 4 and 8. Beautiful, just beautifully just moving up and down. However, when she ate fried potato chips, her blood sugar spiked. And she tried a couple of other things. She ate some sugar, refined man-made sugar. Her blood sugar spiked. The industry wants to confuse us so that we actually just give up. So they start these stupid rumors about fruit being bad for you and it causes cancer. No studies show that whatsoever, and I've checked it out. I've typed it in every search engine. I've looked in journals. There's nothing. In fact, we know that fruit protects us because of the high antioxidants, phytonutrients. But if you create this rumor, it's called fake news. We all know about it. There's so much fake news when it comes to our body. If you create this fake news about fruit, people are going to say, well, if an apple's going to give me a cancer and a chocolate's going to give me cancer, well, I'll rather go out eating the chocolate. And so people will eat the chocolates and they'll drink the diet cold drinks, mess up their metabolisms. It's bizarre. Don't believe the fake news. If a man made it, don't eat it. Okay, unless you know that it's been put together with only natural ingredients and rolled in a ball. We make something called our power balls, which is dates, raisins, and tahini. They're power balls. If your blood sugar's low or you're hungry, you pop a couple of those or one of the bars. It's the same thing, the power bars, and it just stabilizes your blood sugar and takes your appetite away completely. Now that's man-made, but it's all God-made food. It's raisins, dates, tahini. We just blended it together. But if there are ingredients in there that you don't understand what they are and you can't recognize them, you should not be eating it. We need to be moving naturally. All the studies show that the people at the slimmest and the healthiest are not the people. There's some new research come out saying you shouldn't even be doing more than 12,000 steps a day, unless you absolutely have to. But it says you don't benefit over 12,000 steps. Now, there are many days I do 20,000 and 22,000 because I walk, I mow my own lawn, I'm involved with the school, there's a lot of walking backwards and forwards, we take the kids, and then it's just, you know, I'm involved in the shop and I walk up and down there, so very often it can be more than that. But it's actually showing recent studies that over 12,000 steps, there's no benefit. So up to 12,000 steps a day, you benefit, but over that, there's no benefit. Recent studies show that people that do a lot of weight-bearing exercise in the gym are more likely to die at a younger age than people who are just doing natural resistance exercise, like pushing a wheelbarrow, raking their garden, sawing down a tree, carrying kids, carrying your own bags of groceries. In fact, the one study showed that your life expectancy could be decreased by nearly 30% if you're somebody who's pushing weights every single day in a gym. Again, moving naturally. If you look at the longest living communities, the slimmest, the healthiest, they walk, they cycle, they hike, they grow their vegetables. They do no formal exercise. They do not run a race. They do not swim in a gala. They do not do triathlons. They don't do biathlons. They don't do Ironman. They just move naturally. Sleep. If you are not sleeping on a regular basis and having good quality sleep, then you'll find that certain hormones in your body, like leptin and ghrelin, for example, the one will add weight to you and the other one makes you lose weight. They're just totally out of balance. Sleep is very important to regulate your endocrine system, the system that controls all the hormones that actually help your metabolism function at the right level. If you're not getting enough sleep, you could be underweight. If you're not getting enough sleep, you could be overweight. How much sleep do you need? If you go to bed by 10 o'clock and you're not having any caffeine to wake you up and you've eaten comfortably so you're not waking up because your stomach's distressed, you're most likely to sleep somewhere between 5 and 8 hours. Depends on what you've eaten, how much exercise you've done, what you've been up to that day. If you worked physically very hard, you might sleep a good 8 hours. If you've done a little bit of work and you've eaten not a lot of food and you've been more mentally active, you might find you only sleep 5 or 6 hours. You can't make a hard and fast rule about it, but you do need the 2 hours before midnight, and that's what's been found to be important. 2 hours before midnight is when you need to go to sleep. You should actually be in bed at 9:30, switch your light off, 10 at the latest, and within a couple of minutes you should be asleep. At the worst, don't go to bed past 11, but 10 is actually the time you need to go to sleep. That's the right time, 2 hours before midnight. If we were living in ancient times, we would be asleep when it was pitch dark. We would wake up when the sun came up, which meant in winter we'd sleep more, much like the bears, semi-hibernating. And in summer we'd go to bed later and wake up earlier, and winter we'd go to bed earlier and wake up later. That's the reality. That's the natural way to do it. But at least 2 hours before. And then the next thing is you need natural light. Why? Because natural light regulates melatonin and serotonin. Melatonin is suppressed during the day, which makes you full of energy because you produce serotonin and you're happy. You need to suppress the melatonin, otherwise it doesn't come up high enough at night. And if it doesn't come up high enough at night, you are exhausted. You can't sleep, and you toss and turn, and the next day you're exhausted. If you don't spend natural light outside without glasses on. If you wear glasses because you can't see anybody, and they're over here, you can't get the UV rays into the eyes, okay? You've got to take it down onto the end of your nose. Look down at where your feet are going in case if your eyesight's really bad. Don't take them off. You can look down there. However, if they're just reading glasses or sunglasses, take them off. You're better off wearing a hat or a cap. But it's an industry that wants you to spend thousands on the latest designer sunglasses. And they create this huge fear on these UV rays. And what happens is everybody, and I mean everybody, including pastors of churches, music directors. I have dealt with music directors of praise and worship teams that are suffering from they're suffering from anxiety, they're suffering from depression, they can't sleep at night. And guess what? They're up all night working for God. And they're suffering from depression. And they're saying, please don't tell anybody, I'm so ashamed. And I say, you're not the first person. You're probably the 100th person to tell me. Youth pastors at church suffering from anxiety. They're going outside with their cool glasses on them. They're not getting natural light. They're not sleeping properly. They're anxious. They're depressed. Now add some caffeine and sugar to that and you're in a bad place, okay? You need natural light to regulate serotonin and melatonin. If you don't regulate serotonin, you're going to crave carbohydrates, which is usually bread and cakes and cookies. So it's not about giving them up. It's about correcting the environment in which your body is so that it doesn't crave those things because it doesn't need it. So if you make a point of getting 20 minutes every day outside, you're not going to be overeating on the cakes and cookies and the breads. I remember a family member who used to work for a bakery many years ago. They used to make what we call Chelsea buns, which is like a bun that's swirled around with, it's like a cinnamon bun, basically. It's a cinnamon bun that's been rolled up with the cinnamon in it, and then it has this icing sugar drizzled over the top. It's like sticky on top with the cinnamon. And she used to be a rep for a bakery. And so she would go to the bakery shop and she would buy sometimes 2 trays of these buns, cinnamon buns. And there were 6 in each tray, or each pack. And on many occasions, she would eat both those packs in a day. And she was driving around with her cool shades on. And now I think back on it, I think it's probably because she never actually let her eyes see natural sunlight. Now, you can keep them on when you're driving, but when you get out, take the glasses off so that you're exposing your eyes to natural light. Walk across the road without your glasses on. Walk to the gate of your garden without your glasses on. If you need them to drive, that's fine, but take them off as soon as you get out of them. You need light. If you're getting regular light, you'll find your appetite is regulated. It will be healthy enough to not put on weight and healthy enough to be able to gain the weight you need to. Now, a lot of things come up with the whole thing is what should we eat? And then the other thing is what, and these are sort of misconceptions. One of the things is gluten. Gluten is something that can make you and cause you to put on weight. If I eat one slice of homemade, whole wheat, organic, whole wheat bread, one slice every day for 5 days, I put on 5 kilograms. I kid you not. That's about times 2.2. That's like, what is it? 11 kilograms. 11 pounds at least, 11 pounds in a week. I kid you not. In the process, my skin gets really lined, and my husband says, "What are you doing? You look like you've aged 10 years in a week." That's what happens when I put gluten into my body. But most importantly, when it comes to my weight, my metabolism slows down. I put on that weight. My bowels come to a grinding halt, and I suffer from constipation. And I suffered from it my entire life. I didn't realize it until I took the gluten out. Sorry. So when I took gluten out of my diet, constipation went, the dry skin went, my body was aging slower, and most importantly, I lost those 5 kilograms that I was always carrying around with me. I haven't had any gluten in my diet for the last 15 years. And about 3 months ago, I went out with a family member, and he took me to the special restaurant with my grandson. He took me to the special restaurant. I must taste. It's like corn grits that have been fried in a square, and I didn't realize it until it got to my plate, and it had been rolled in some breadcrumbs and deep fried. And I thought, well, he's raving about this. This is a big treat. He knows that I don't normally eat this stuff. I'm just going to eat it to make him happy and just to say thank you for taking me out. The rest of the meal was lovely. There was lovely salad and everything else. But he said, I must taste this. I had 1 square. I haven't had gluten for years. My stomach was sluggish for 2 whole days. 2 whole days. And I could feel my stomach started feeling heavy. I could feel my clothes were tighter on me from that 1 little square. Gluten tends to affect the thyroid gland, and the thyroid gland is part of your hormonal system, the endocrine system, and that is the system that controls your muscle tone, your body weight, your appetite, your metabolism, the movement of food through your digestive tract. So if your thyroid's gone, you're going to have a problem with your weight usually. Could be underweight, could be overweight, okay? Dairy products, number 1 cause of cellulite is dairy products, cheese, milk, and yogurt. Cow's milk is perfectly designed for baby cows, called calves. We are not calves, we are human beings. We are perfectly designed for our mother's milk. Mother's milk should be consumed for the first 1 to 2 years of our life. Depends on who you're reading. Some people say 5 years. But at the end of the day, there's no reason for us to consume cow's milk. If the mother can't feed, the baby's better off with goat's milk. A goat weighs what a human being does when it's born, and a goat weighs what a human being weighs when they die. It's basically the same. But a cow, man, if you want to be like a cow, have dairy products in you. If you want to put on weight and gain cellulite, that lumpy fat on the belly and on your thighs, go with the dairy. If you want to get sinusitis, ear infections, tonsillitis, allergic rhinitis, the runny noses, gastrointestinal bleeding, and with iron deficiency anemia, inflammation in the digestive tract. If you want to suffer from digestive discomfort and health issues, but more than that, we're talking of weight. If you want to suffer from excess weight or too little weight, some people suffer from terrible diarrhea, and some people with gluten intolerance can end up suffering from celiac disease, where they just have diarrhea and they just call it's failure to thrive. You just don't grow. You can't put on weight. You take out gluten and dairy. If you're overweight, you're going to lose weight, and if you're underweight, you'll gain weight. Both of those. Caffeine revs up your metabolism, increases your chances of anxiety. Your quality of sleep deteriorates. Even though you're sleeping, it's not good quality sleep. You don't get into the deep sleep. You sleep for 8 hours, but it's not good, refreshing sleep. Alcohol, you want to mess up your metabolism, slow down your metabolism, or rev it up. Alcohol does it, one or the other. When you consume alcohol, you're sterilizing your digestive tract. You're destroying the friendly bacteria that have all these incredible neural cells in them that communicate with your central nervous system and brain. So you find your brain is affected. But as a result of that, your endocrine system is affected, because whatever affects your central nervous system is going to affect your endocrine system, because they're connected in the brain. You've got the pituitary gland, you've got the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus feeds into the brain and central nervous system. The pituitary gland is the hormonal system, the endocrine system. So whatever causes stress, chronic stress, whatever, whether it's alcohol, caffeine, and just people around you and work. Chronic stress, if you're not managing your stress, it's going to affect your hormonal system and could make you put on weight. Chronic stress can make you underweight. Chronic stress can make you overweight. How do you manage it? You exercise, you get outside, you eat properly. Take out caffeine and the alcohol. They stress your mind and your body. Chronic stress will affect your weight. Fats and fables. Fats make you thin. They do. If you're getting the right fats into your body, essential fatty acids from plant sources, not from fish oil, not from fat on your bacon. That's not the right kind of fat. Fats from plants are good if they're not heated. Diet drinks actually make you fat. Diet sodas make you fat or thin. They mess up your metabolism. Why? Because they contain something called aspartame or aspartame. And aspartame is a sweetener that causes neuroendocrine disorders. Remember I told you the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus? So the hypothalamus is your nervous system, and your pituitary gland is your endocrine. Neuroendocrine disorders is to do with the endocrine system and the central nervous system and brain. And that's the system that needs to work properly for your weight to be right for you. So if you are drinking a diet soda on a regular basis and you're putting it into your coffee and tea, I remember this mother saying to me, she came to a talk I did and I mentioned this. She said, you know, my 16-year-old son's been telling us for the last year, Mom, that diet sodas are making me fat. She looked at him and she said to him, what do you know? You're 16, for goodness sake. And he said, well, I've been living with you for 16 years and I've only ever seen you put that diet sweetener into your coffee and your tea and you drink diet sodas and you just get fatter and fatter and fatter. And she said, trust my child to tell me the truth. And she said, what you've said today makes most sense. I am putting on more and more weight. My hormonal system's not working properly, and I'm more stressed. Causes neuroendocrine disorders. If you want to not stress yourself, get rid of the artificial sweeteners. You can use natural sweeteners like fructose or organic coconuts, or raw honey is my personal favorite one. I do quite like the raw coconut sugar. Found a really nice organic one from Indonesia. It's really nice, but it's expensive. So I get the local honey that's around here, which is, I like honey. But if you're very strict vegan and don't want honey, you may want that, okay? So sugar, diet drinks can make you fat. Diet drinks can make you skinny. If you are already underweight, you're going to be more underweight. If you are overweight, it could make you more overweight, okay? Good fats can make you thin. Good fats can make you put on weight if you need to put on weight. You won't put on the weight unless you eat too much of it. How do you know you're eating too much? The food's sitting in your stomach and not digesting, or you're feeling mildly nauseous. When your digestive tract comes to a grinding halt, it's usually because you've eaten too much fat in the day. Good fats can do that because you only produce a certain amount of fat digesting enzymes in any one day. So if you eat too much fat, there's no more to digest, to break down that fat in that day, and it just sits in your stomach, and you can wake up with it repeating on you. Stick to those amounts I gave you: 1/4 to 1/2 a cup of nuts or seeds, or 5 to 10 olives a day, or 5 to 10 olives, or 1 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin oil. That's the kind of quantities, or little bits of both of all of them if you're wanting to. But try and stick to that, but listen to your body, which is more important, okay? And then try what I call the high, low, no-fat diet. High natural fats compared to what most people do. Most people don't want to eat the avocado. They're worried about it putting on weight, and then they eat low cooked fats, very little, if at all. And the no-fat diet is don't eat any artificial fats. Things like coffee and tea creamers, they're absolute no-no. It's a completely man-made fat. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. It's going to put it into storage, and then when you go on a detox type program, it's got to come out, and then you feel terrible, okay? All right. High in essential fatty acids, low other fats, which are usually things like coconut oil or heated fats, and then no animal fats, unless you're trying to get cellulite. And no animal fats, or very tiny amounts of animal fats if you occasionally have them, but absolutely no processed fats. Adverts and lies. Here's the real truth. And we know it, because if you could buy your health, people would be slim. All the rich people would be slim, and all the poor people wouldn't. But if you go and look in rural communities, the people living natural lives, are usually slim and trim and healthy, okay? You can't buy them. Can't buy your health or your weight loss or weight gain, but you do need to invest finding your balance. You need to invest time, effort, and maybe a little bit of money. When I say a little bit of money, we'll gladly go and spend, $100 on our hair or our nails or, having our lips Botox. I mean, a woman that cuts my style of my hair, she offers Botox in the salon, and the doctor comes around and puts the needles in her. She wasn't so good at her cutting, I wouldn't go. I can't handle the fact that she does this Botox thing. But that's what they're paying money on. They're looking at their faces and they're looking at their bodies. And if they could suck the fat off, they do it, even if it killed them. They stick the Botox in their face, even if it kills them, because today it's looking good. We have lost our common sense. You have to live in a lifestyle to make sure your weight is constant. So when you're living a natural lifestyle, your weight will be where it's meant to be. Might go up a couple of pounds or kilos, down a couple of pounds or kilos. You might find you go through a phase where you're not very active. Maybe you hurt your foot and you put on a couple of kilos, but you're not going to put on 25 kilograms. One of the testimonies we have on this is a woman who actually had hurt her leg and wasn't allowed to do any weights, and she still lost weight because she was eating well and she was trying to lose weight. So it's not about giving up, okay? It's not about giving up things. When I talk about gluten and I talk about dairy, it's focusing on what you can add to your existing diet. If you're adding natural fats to your diet, you're not going to crave dairy products like you used to. Main reason you crave cheese is your body's craving the fats. Plus, there's a casomorphine in it, which actually gives a sort of comfort feeling. It gives you this I'm feeling so natural and relaxed and I'm feeling warm and fuzzy because of the casomorphine. It has a morphine type of effect on the body. But when you put the natural fats into your body, you stop actually liking the smell of dairy products. I was a cheese addict. 5 cheese pizza was me. I was there. Macaroni and cheese, I used to put cheddar cheese, pecorino, and mozzarella cheese when I made macaroni and cheese. And then I never used milk. I used fresh full cream. I used cream. And I used butter and flour to thicken the sauce. It was rich, and people used to rave about my mac and cheese. So a real cellulite maker, that. It's not about giving up. It's about adding to. So I started making my mac and cheese, and I started using different things. I started using cashew cream to thicken it instead of all this fat. And then I could still put the flavor in it. If I wanted the cheesy flavor, I found if I put a bit of mustard powder, it gave that cheesy flavor. I didn't get the stringiness of the mozzarella, but I know there are vegan cheeses you can use. I just don't like the flavor or the texture of them. If you're wanting to get healthy and in the process correct your body weight, you need a community. It's very, very hard to live a healthy lifestyle when everybody around you is doing the opposite, especially in your families. You get teased, you get, what are you doing? You're eating rabbit food. Oh, it sounds like a fad diet. Come on, just have a Coke and then just have a piece of cake and just do this. So if you're in a community, you actually stand a nearly 90% chance of actually being successful. They estimate 84% of people that change their diet to eat healthier or to try and lose weight are going to fall by the wayside, because we need the support. And that's why diet organizations like Weight Watchers and Wayless and Jenny Craig and all these diet organizations around the world have been successful, because there's a community. And we have that community. We meet on Wednesdays and we meet on Thursdays. You decide which group, but you also have a game changer. And it's in social media. You can just chat to them and say, hey, what did she say about mac and cheese? Have you ever tried making it? And somebody, your game changer, might say, I haven't. And somebody will say, I have. Here's my photograph. This is what worked for me. And this is where I got the ingredients. So you need that community. It's really important. That's important. That's where that effort comes into. You've got to put the effort and the time in it. You can't just sit there and think health and, getting to the right weight is going to help you, okay? And you need a purpose and a vision for your life. When you have no purpose and vision, you tend to just shove anything into your mouth. You've got a purpose in your life. You actually want to live a better life. And living a better life means you want to make better choices with your food. You want to make better choices with your friends. One of the things I tell people to do, and many people have read this and watched it online, it's like the guy who, if you want to be successful, as he said, make your bed. And it starts with being orderly in your bedroom. Make your bed. And then you're more likely to be orderly in the kitchen. And when you're orderly in the kitchen, then start being, your handbag doesn't look like such a mess, or your briefcase and your desk drawers on. Everything starts to be orderly, and it's on purpose, because you now have a sense of purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, ask God to show you. But I'll tell you what Rabbi Jonathan Sachs says. He was knighted for the work he did amongst the Jewish, Muslim, and Christian communities in the UK. He found that there were all these charities working kind of duplicating things, and he got them together. He said, if we work together with our charities, we could get so much more done. And in fact, that's what happened. These communities will work together, and they were able to help so many other people. And so he was knighted by the Queen and became Sir Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. He's no longer alive. He died a couple of years ago, sadly, from cancer. But if you ever go onto the internet, I can't remember the exact title, but it's one of these, like 6 minutes long. And he says, people are always asking him, why did God make them? Why am I on this earth? And he says, everybody's looking for a purpose for their lives. And it's very, very simple. And that's to make the world a better place. Are you making the world a better place where you are? We have missionaries that go to America from South Africa to go and be missionaries in America. And Americans come to Africa to be missionaries here. It's quite bizarre. But he's saying, if we all made up our minds to make the world a better place where we are, then we would do that and the world would become a better place. If we consciously thought about it. And it starts with picking up trash. We get our kids to pick up trash when we go for a walk, and the new kids will say, I didn't throw that down there. Why should I pick it up? Because we're trying to make the world a better place. And it doesn't matter who threw it down. If we don't pick it up, people will keep throwing things down. You need a purpose to your life. You need a vision and purpose. And when you have a vision and purpose for your life, it's not easy to be addicted to anything, whether it be junk food, sugar, alcohol, bad relationships, or anything else for that matter. Potato chips, whatever, and they just sit and they're just watching one thing after the next thing, and it's other people's lives. Other people are making money of you watching them live their lives. Desperate Housewives, Beverly Hills Housewives, whatever it is. I mean, their lives, it's like soap opera. We're just watching it and we're filling our head. I have no problem watching a good movie, but just sitting down, and I know I've been there. It's so easy to slide into that couch and reach out for the potato chips and sit with them and just like sit there and watch this and you go to bed and you've done nothing. You didn't sort out your taxes. You didn't make sure that you paid your bills. You're just doing nothing. You're so overwhelmed with life. You're so overwhelmed with decisions, and it's usually because you have no vision. So very, very important. If you don't have a vision and purpose, you've got to make your purpose and your vision right now to find that. But if you focus, this is how easy it is. If you focus on right where I am, how can I make the world a better place? I can help feed that person. I could maybe employ somebody who's on the corner all the time and help them to, I'm not saying pick up all the lame, dogs everywhere, but it may be helping the dogs in the community and getting them to your local animal shelter. It may be getting people off the streets into the local charitable shelter for human beings. It may be, I remember my mother used to knit beanies. Little beanies, knitted beanies and scarves. Every year she would just turn them out. She said there are always children that are cold, and she used to send them to the local schools around her and to the churches so that these people, and that was her way of making a difference where she was. Make your purpose, finding a purpose. And this is where detox is very important. I find that when people go into a detox program, it makes you really, especially when there's a period of semi-fasting, like on our 30-day detox, there's 2 days of semi-fasting, then there's 7 days of raw food, and then there's 20 days of, 7 days, 21 days, 3 days, 2 days of fasting, 7 days of raw, and basically 21 days of having raw food. Not raw food, of eating a totally plant-based diet with no caffeine and no gluten and stuff like that. All the things that, if you're wanting a quick fast start and you want to lose weight very quickly, the 30-day detox is fantastic for that. But I prefer people to do the 100 days to health before that. But when you go on the 30-day detox, you can actually set time aside. You've got a list of what you can eat, and that's what you eat. You just eat that stuff that's listed there. There are recipes for you, and you follow that. And I find that when you're on a specific program like that, where you're feeding your body only natural whole foods, your whole body cleans out. Your body breaks down fat cells that have stored old medication, pollution from the air, anything, just stuff that shouldn't have, preservatives, additives, things that your body couldn't cope with. It wraps in fat and it puts into storage. When you go on a 100% pure diet with nothing, no preservatives, no additives, no gluten, no animal products, no caffeine, no alcohol, but it's delicious. You're having avocados and nuts and seeds and fresh fruit, and you've got beautiful salads, and you've got guacamole and all this beautiful stuff, and hummus and red pepper mayonnaise and chili pesto, delicious stuff. Okay, you've got all this beautiful stuff. Because it's so pure, it's not only your physical body that cleans out, but your mental, emotional, and spiritual part of your body actually clears. Your eyesight improves. And you start to feel more organized, and you start to think more clearly about your life. And you stop just living like a zombie, ready to just have anything jump off the screen, whether it be off your phone or your television screen, and just kind of tell you, in this mindless state that we live in. And I've been there. I'm not criticizing anybody. Honestly, I've been in that mindless state where you're just eating trash and watching trash and reading trash because you just don't want to think. When you go on a detox program, it's not just detoxing your physical body. You're detoxing your whole being, especially when it's whole food. So it's a very important time that you go into it and you realize that you are going to be more spiritually aware of things. People will say to me, I'm feeling being prompted by God to do this, that, and the next thing. It's not, I don't believe, well, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but God talks audibly to people, but certainly he hasn't to me. I think if he spoke audibly to me, I'd just be terrified because it's so supernatural. It would just be like, whoa, what the heck? I don't know. If he did speak to me audibly and I heard, then I suppose he would make me not die. But at the end of the day, I'm not looking for that experience, but it's a wonderful sense of deep spirituality to feel in your spirit that your maker is communicating with you and communing with you and putting suggestions forward. It's an amazing place to be. So I want to encourage every single one of you, if you've never done a detox program, if you're on our 100 days from now and you've done our 365, do the 30-day detox. But do it after you've done the 100 days to health, not right at the beginning, because it's too radical for most people. You detoxify, and the next thing you got burning urine, and if you can, because it's, I've got a bladder infection, but it's just your body cleaning out all the acidic stuff. It's just coming out. And you actually will find you lose weight if you're wanting to lose weight. If you don't want to lose weight on the 30-day detox, you just eat more of the food that's there. In fact, if you're eating more of the food that's there, you'll find if you're underweight, you're going to gain weight, okay? So doing the 7 to 30 days on a natural detox program will help you focus and heal your body and mind and spirit. And the detox program should be a very simple program that excludes any damaging or addictive foods or substances. And it shouldn't be costing you an enormous amount of money for the food. We're talking eating what is in season and locally grown. That helps you focus and allows your body to repair itself and break down all unhealthy tissue and fat that is in storage, as well as build healthy muscle and tissue. So a lot of people are always saying to me, so how do you calculate your ideal weight? How do you know that this is what you should weigh? Well, my usual answer to that is, you know because you're comfortable. You're sleeping comfortably. You're going to the bathroom comfortably. Your mind is comfortable. Your energy is consistent and comfortable. You're not feeling jittery. Your clothes are feeling nice and comfortable. Everything just feels comfortable. You have energy. You can get up and move fast. You're not getting up really slowly and your belly's getting in the way. You're feeling like you're invincible. You can almost do anything. It's a wonderful place to be. I call it living in the sweet spot. But I wanted to share with you that some of the things that they've come up with. How much a person should weigh is not an exact science. This is, I'm quoting from this article that I extracted some of this. Okay, it's highly dependent on each individual. So far, there's no measure, be it the ideal body weight, the IBW, or body mass index, BMI, or any other that can definitively state how much a person should weigh to be healthy. There are only references, and it's more important to be making healthy life choices, regular exercise, eating a variety of unprocessed foods, enough sleep, etc., than it is to chase a specific weight based on a generalized formula. The ideal body weight was actually introduced, listen to this, as an estimate for dosages for medical use. So they said, we've got to work out how much of a medicine you need for this particular condition. And to do that, we need to work it out on a specific body weight. So if you weigh 60 kilograms or 120 pounds, then you're going to need 5 milligrams or 50 milligrams or whatever on this medication. It had nothing to do with how healthy you do. It had to do with what kind of weight do you need to weigh to take X amount of medication. That's actually what it was about. Okay. So this is, I found it absolutely fascinating. Just to confuse you, these various formula that you can go and check them out on the internet, and it's absolutely fascinating. This G.H. Humwin had a formula in 1964, and this was for if a male, what happened to female? If a male weighed 48 kilograms, then they needed to add a 2.7 they had to add 2.7 kilograms per inch over 5 foot. So 5 foot, you could weigh 48 kilograms. And for every inch over that, you added 2.7 kilograms per inch. Okay, so now they've got kilograms, which is metric, and they've got inches, which is imperial. So this is the weirdest thing, okay? And a female at 45.5 kilograms needs to add 2.2 kilograms for every inch over 5 foot. So B.J. Devine had a formula in 1974. He said, no, that's not right. It needs to be 50 kilograms for a man, and 45.5 for a woman is okay, but and the 2.3 is okay for the woman, but it actually needs to be 2.3 for men and not 2.7. Well, then J.D. Robinson said in 1983 that the males need to be 50 kilograms and it needs to be plus 1.9 kilograms per inch, and females 45.5 would basically stay the same, and 1.7. And then R.D. Miller the same year in 1983 said, no, you're all wrong. It's 56.2 kilograms plus 1.41 kilograms for every inch over 5 foot, and 53.1 for women, and 1.36 kilograms for every inch. I mean, your head just spins when you look at the stuff and you think, how the heck does anybody know what the hell's going on? Honestly, I would say the best way to regulate your weight is big announcement, ta-da, get us healthy as soon as you can. Because when you're living in the sweet spot, you're sleeping properly, you have energy, your mind is focused, your bowels are working properly, you don't have headaches anymore, there's no more body odor, your menstrual periods have gone from 7 heavy days to 2 light days, you're just feeling marvelous all the time. You wake up feeling great, you go to bed feeling great. When you're there, then your weight is right. I want to actually say something to you, is if you have a scale, I want to tell you to throw it away. Throw it away. Or donate it to a school where children can play with it and put things on it and weigh it. Because really, at the end of the day, there's nothing more bizarre than a scale. I live in Africa, and I'm always amazed when you go on a game drive anywhere, in the Western Cape where I live, or higher up, go to the Kruger Park. I have seen impala, springbok, kudu, all kinds of buck and animals just prancing around. They eat. When you look at an elephant, they're eating. A giraffe is eating. The impala are eating. The springbok are eating. I've never, ever, 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 ever seen a buck taking their grass and putting it on the scale and weighing it. I've never seen that. I've never seen a buck sitting on a rock saying, I've got such a migraine, I can't actually handle this heat. I can't eat. I got a migraine, not tonight, darling. Never seen that. Never, ever, ever seen that. Because the animals in their natural wild environment are eating what they were designed to eat. And when we eat what we're designed to eat, and we learn basic principles of how our body works, we get healthy, and then your body weight is just where it's meant to be. It really is. And that's an amazing place to be. You may still have some bad habits where you overeat, because you come from that background. You might have emotional issues that you overeat, or stress issues that make you eat. But if you overeat on healthy food, you may weigh 3 kilograms or 5 or 6 pounds more than you should. You're not going to weigh 50 or 100 pounds more than you should, or 50 or 100 kilograms or 10 kilograms. It's not going to be this enormous amount of weight. It'll just be a little bit too much. If you're not doing enough activity and you're eating too much, probably 3 to 5 kilograms overweight. But seriously, that is it. It's that simple. So how do you fix the problem? This is the easy part. It's practical, doable, affordable, simple, and anyone can do it. You just need the right tools. Here's your basic starter kit. I'm going to give you 12 tools, things for you to do, okay? Number one, tool one, health is a mindset. You have to want to be healthy. If you're still in the mindset of, I don't care how healthy I am, I just want to be skinny, well, then you can switch off now and go home because you're in the wrong place. You've got to have a mindset. Maybe just hang in there because maybe the mindset will come at the end of this. Sorry, excuse me. You got to choose to live it from when you open your eyes. You wake up in the morning and you get excited about, I'm going to have a smoothie. I'm going to have some fruit. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. I'm looking forward to making my new exciting food. But if you're going to wake up and think, yeah, I feel like bacon and egg, and I just want to eat bacon and egg, and I feel like a donut, and this is so hard. If your mindset's there, you're in the wrong place. It's very hard to get out of the mindset when you're eating junk food. So I would say persist and at least break through that first week or two, and then you're going to find it really easy. You stop looking for excuses to not be healthy. This is the mindset. You continue looking for ways to be healthy. You're looking for different options. Oh, look at this. I bought dragon fruit the other day to taste with my granddaughter. Why is this jumping back? It's just technology does weird things. Nothing derails you. You go to a wedding, you might eat something bad, you come back, you get back on your program. You go to a function at work and you maybe ate something that you shouldn't and you had some alcohol and you didn't want to have it. You don't let it derail. You don't make that as an excuse to say, I can't do this. You say, I'm getting straight back on track. Nobody's perfect. You just got to get back on track. I'm giving you the track to get onto. It took me a good 5-10 years to find the track, okay? I am making this easy for you. You choose to live in a healthy place with healthy people. You don't hang out with people that are unhealthy. You just stop doing that altogether. And you do healthy things. You go for hikes. You don't go sitting in a place gambling. You don't go sit in a cheesecake factory eating cheesecake. You go to the cheesecake factory with friends who eat their big salads. There are nice salads there, for example. You do healthy things with healthy people. You actually decide, this is it. I spoke to somebody the other day, and they were going out, and I said he'd stopped drinking alcohol about 4 months ago. And I said, he was going out to a party. I said, isn't it difficult for you to go out into an environment where everybody's drinking? He said, no. I made up a decision to not drink. I don't drink. That's it. End of story. That's the mindset. You've made up your mind. You're not going there. End of story. Okay. Monique is one of our most regular people on our program. She's doing 365 third year round, and she started out with terrible health issues. And here's the thing. I'm including some of the health issues so you can see. You don't just lose weight. You're gaining your health in the process. She said, in a short period of time, my energy started to increase. I now have more energy than I've had in years. PMS has virtually vanished, and period pain no longer feels like I'm being killed anymore. Sugar-fried food addiction is kicked, and as a bonus, I'm down 53 pounds in less than a year without dieting or giving up eating good food. Monique, if you want to meet her, come to the Zoom sessions. You'll get to meet her. Your attitude and your decisions could hinder or help your journey. I love this balloon because it's your attitude could decide your altitude, and I should have put that, and it's such a wonderful quote, that. But your attitude and your decisions could hinder or help your journey. It's your choice. It's your choice. Do you want to be healthy, or you're just going to be focusing on trying to lose weight? Because you're going to go down a rabbit hole and you're going to get stuck down there, and you're going to be depressed and you're going to be miserable, and you're never going to be thin enough, and you're never going to be pretty enough, and you're never going to be voluptuous enough. Maybe your hips are very narrow and your breasts are tiny and perky, and you just want to have it all bigger. We're just designed. You have to accept the way your maker made you. You know, not everybody's a Ferrari, and not everybody's a Rolls Royce, and not everybody's a VW. We're all different, and we have different skills and different abilities. We have to embrace who we are. I was born with curves in all the places, and I would have loved to have been tall and skinny and willowy. I've got a daughter like that. She's much taller than me. She's very slim. She's got absolutely no fat on her body anywhere. There's no padding. She's just naturally slim. She was born like that. When she was born, she was in the top 10% for her height and the bottom 10% for her weight. She's still like that. She's 38. Makes her look very young all the time because she just looks like a young girl when she's 38. You choose to go on more diets, you'll spend huge amounts and never get there. If you decide to get healthy, your weight, you will balance your weight, whether it's under or overweight. It's your journey. It's your journey and it's your choices. You can go fast, you can go slow, you can take your time. My advice to you is enjoy the journey. That's the most important thing. If you aren't enjoying your journey, you're placing too many restrictions on yourself. You got to focus on what you can do, not on what you cannot do. Okay. Tool number 2, the truth. No hype. Pretty simple. Start by trusting your gut. We've stopped trusting your gut. Get your gut healthy, then it's easy to trust it. Find research not funded by drug or pharma companies, food companies, or the tobacco and alcohol industries. In other words, independent research. Where do you find the research? I've been studying for over 40 years, and the biggest study ever done is the China study. It's not a study done in China. It's studies, over 400, that have culminated in the China study. And basically what they're saying is, it's independent, saying man's designed for a plant-based diet. We should be eating more plant food. We should be eating more fruit and vegetables. We should be not frying our foods. We should be eating less animal products. We shouldn't be eating junk processed foods. Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, I studied through them in Washington, D.C. I'm an Education Alliance partner with them, the only one that I know of in Africa. And it's headed by doctors. It's independent research. They don't market any products. They're not selling anything. Follow the blue zones. These are real communities that have looked like that for centuries. We'll be looking at them quickly. Blue zones, Loma Linda, Southern California, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Sardinia in Italy over here, and Icarus in Greece, and Okinawa in Japan. And what do they all do? They all move naturally. They don't run triathlons. They don't go to the gym. They all belong to the right tribe. In other words, they are in a community of like-minded people. They all have the right outlook. They're very positive outlook. They have a vision and a purpose, and they all eat wisely. And you will find there's little or no weight issues or obesity there. No underweight, no overweight. They're just healthy. You know, look at them. They've been lived like some of them for centuries, okay? It's your body. You've got to get to know it. Learn how it works. Love it and be a good steward. Look after what you've been given. If you've been given a beautiful Rolls Royce or an incredible Maserati, and you just go and put crappy oil and crappy gas or petrol in it, and you just park it on the curb, and you don't put it away at night in its own parking garage, it's going to get damaged. It's going to break. Even though it costs a lot of money, if you don't look after it, it's not just going to look after itself. Unlike our body, which can actually repair itself if you create the right environment. So if you're looking for somewhere to study the human body, look, you can get a physiology textbook, or you can do the 365 program. We teach you 12 body systems, 12 pillars of health. It takes an entire year. It's in tiny little bite-sized pieces. Otherwise, that's a great physiology textbook. You can just put it next to your bed and read bits and pieces as you like. One of our new teachers has come to the school. His wife's actually doing one of our nutrition course. And he's completely fascinating. He's teaching our high school students. He's taken some of our physiology books that I gave him for the students, and he's reading them, and he's saying, is this actual science? They're actually saying here that people that smile are healthier. And he said, he's sometimes been in a miserable place, and he's forced himself to smile, and then he felt better, and he just thought it was mental, but he didn't realize that it has a physiological effect on you. I said, no, this is all science. Tool number 3, your diet needs to be alkaline forming. When your diet is 75% alkaline forming, you can increase your metabolic rate by 30% without even doing exercise. I kid you not. They actually found in the China study that people could eat 30% more food and not gain weight if they were prone to put on weight when they were eating basically mostly fruits and vegetables. So you can actually eat 30% more food if you want to, which for me as a compulsive overeater to start off with, I just loved it. I absolutely loved the fact that I could eat more, and I did. I ate an entire watermelon, a whole box of mangoes, 9 mangoes in a day. I ate a kilogram of almonds in a day and a kilogram of macadamia nuts on another day. I pigged out, and I lost weight initially as I was going along. Once I got to my stable weight and I was healthy, I actually couldn't eat that amount. It was like my body was craving this good stuff, and I was just putting it in. I couldn't get enough of it, and suddenly after 3 months, I stopped eating. I woke up and I was not hungry. I'd been ravenous for 3 months, just like, I'm not getting any chocolates, and I'm not getting any of this. So I was just like eating raisins and dates, and suddenly I woke up one morning. I wasn't hungry, and I wasn't shaking by 8 o'clock if I hadn't eaten. By 9 o'clock, I wasn't shaking, and by 10 o'clock, it was an experiment. I was able to fast and not get lightheaded. I can go without food and not get lightheaded like I used to. It used to be terrible. All right, so 75%, it's really easy. Which foods are alkaline forming? All your fresh fruits and vegetables, basically. There are one or two there slightly acidic, like asparagus. But honestly, how do you increase your alkaline intake? Very easy. Start all your cooked meals with raw vegetables, at least a side plate. Take your hand like that. One full hand, stick it on a plate. That's the least you should eat of fruit and vegetables before a meal, okay? You decide. Have one meal every day that's just fruit with a handful of nuts and seeds, okay? Closed handful like that of raw nuts and seeds. One entire fruit meal. For me, that's my breakfast. You can make it lunch or supper. It's entirely up to you. I sometimes love having fruit for supper. Sometimes I have fruit for breakfast, lunch, and supper. I listen to my body. Some days I'm craving sweet things. Other days I'm craving vegetables. And in between your meals, snack on fresh fruits and vegetables. That equals 75% alkaline forming. Now, I can't see you, but raise your hand, your right hand or your left hand, if you're left-handed, raise them both. If you can do all three of those steps, okay? Because if you can do those three, you're going to notice a difference within 2 weeks. If you just do those 3 steps, because your metabolism will increase, your energy will increase, your bowels will be emptying more comfortably, you will just feel amazing. Tool number 4, exercise. Ideally, exercising twice a day if you're really wanting to get things moving, starting with 5 minutes every day at the same time every day. Don't start doing 5 minutes in the morning and then 5 minutes at lunch, and then the next day you do 5 minutes at lunch and 5 minutes at supper, and the next time you're doing 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening. And it's just, you can't keep track of this. If you try to teach a child to brush their teeth at a different time every day, they'll never get it right. But you're telling them to brush when you get up in the morning and brush before you go to bed. They know that's toothbrushing time. It's like, you'll know your body's telling you go for a walk. And don't start with a 2-hour hike, because you'll give up, you'll be stiff and you'll be sore and you'll feel terrible. Go for 5 minutes. Please don't do more than this, okay? If you haven't exercised, don't do more than 5 minutes. Go for a walk. Turn around at the gate and come back. Then do 7.5 minutes. But do the 5 minutes until your body says, I want more. And then you go to 7.5 minutes and your body says, I want more. And you go to 10 minutes and your body says, I want more. And you at least get it to 20 minutes. I know people who are saying, my body wants more. People are writing to me and saying, I had photographs sent to me yesterday by one of our game changers from this family. The entire family started with 5 minutes a day. Then they did 10 minutes, and then they did 15 and 20. And now they're hiking through the vineyards near their home. And they are loving it. They're absolutely loving it. And they never used to do any exercise. They're teenagers, they're young adults and teenagers. I think they're 3 kids and both are parents. And they said they had never felt this good. Their depression's gone, their anxiety's gone, they're all sleeping better at night. Exercise is the most powerful natural anti-anxiety, antidepressant, and it speeds up your metabolism. So it's just your muscles get stronger, and the more muscle mass you have, the more you break down fat, okay? Exercise regulates at least 16 hormones, most of which affect your weight and muscle tone in your body. And if you're trying to gain weight, start building muscle. Start building muscle. Muscle weighs more than fat. You want muscle. You don't want fat in your body. Exercise improves, but don't go to the gym and doing weight training. Go and garden. Go hiking. Put a rucksack on your back with 5 kilograms if you must. Exercise improves muscle tone, which regulates muscle growth and strength. The more muscle you have, the more you weigh. So don't weigh yourself other than once a month if you cannot resist it. But I would say resist it. Stop weighing yourself. How do you feel in your body? Get up in the morning and say, how do I feel today? How do I fit? How do I feel and how do I fit? How do my clothes fit me? Exercise regulates your appetite and improves your state of mind. Tool number 5, animal protein no more than 3 times a week and no bigger than the size of the palm of your hand. This is the palm, okay? That's the palm there, this part of your hand here. Animal protein includes dairy, the #1 cause of breast and prostate cancer, tonsillitis, sinusitis, and most other itises, including inflammation with heavy menstrual periods and cellulite. So there's nothing beneficial from dairy products. The calcium is not easy for you to use. It's too bound with the phosphorus. The phosphorus levels are too high. You can't use it. That's why in the countries where we consume the most cow's milk, the most cheese, the most yogurt, we've got the most osteoporosis, the most osteoarthritis, the most dental decay, the most. And in countries like China, where they don't consume, in rural China, not cities, they don't consume cow's milk, There's no osteoporosis. There's no dental decay. They're very, very strong and healthy. This is a Sharon. She says, like the cherry on the top. I started the program, and within the first month, it had changed my life. No medication since then, no doctor since then. I've had boundless energy. I go to the gym regularly, work much better at work, and I'm not so tired. And the real cherry on the top is that I'm no longer constantly dieting to control my weight. I have lost 7 kilograms times by 2.2 to get the pounds since the start, and have kept it off, and I know the rest will follow in good time. Thank you so much for your advice. It's simple and logical. Keep up the good work. Okay. Tool number 6, keep your meals simple by eating only one concentrated food per meal. So you eat potatoes as a concentrated food with lots of salads and veggies, or you eat chicken with lots of salads and veggies, but you don't eat 2 concentrated foods together. So you don't have potatoes with chicken. You don't have potatoes with rice. You have 1 carbohydrate, not 2. Or you have rice, but not with fish. You have fish with salads and veggies. It's pretty simple. You do this, and you do the alkaline forming diet, those 3 steps in this. I'll tell you, you'll lose weight in the first month. You won't believe the weight you lose. Keep your meals simple, okay? Only one concentrated. Concentrated food is a food that makes you feel full. Potatoes make you feel full. Chicken makes you feel full. Rice makes you feel. Pasta makes you feel. But make sure it's gluten-free pasta. Rice noodles are great. Avoid gluten. That's where we get here. Remove all gluten and focus on thyroid and endocrine health. Gluten is known to cause thyroid problems, and your thyroid gland controls your body weight. If you're underweight or overweight, your gluten is either regulating your metabolism too fast or too slow. You've got to help your thyroid recover. Take gluten out. It's found in wheat, rye, and oats and barley grains. You do get genuine gluten-free oats. Helsinki oats, I know, it's the one we get. They only come from certain places. They're grown very specifically. And the gluten is under 2, I think it's 20 parts per million. That's right. You don't get gluten-free oats from being packed in a gluten-free warehouse. That is the biggest load of nonsense I've ever heard. There's so much fake stuff out there when it comes to your health. When something doesn't make sense, it's like the emperor's new clothes. Like there's a little boy that actually said the emperor's not wearing any clothes. Sometimes we feel like that. We can't be right. They must know what they're talking about. We're packed in a gluten-free warehouse. And like, your first thought is, well, how does that matter? Gluten is what's found in the plant. So you can't take it out. If you take it out, you're taking the protein out. If you grow it for a very low protein amount, then it's gluten-free. Right. You can drink the juice made from the leaves of these plants, like barley grass juice. I drink that every single day. But you've got to be careful that they haven't taken the whole plant out, because often that kernel that you see over here is attached to that grain, and it goes through the juicer, and you get gluten in it. So be careful, okay? Ground leaves and the plant, very often a lot of these green powders are there. It's just ground up barley grass. It's got the kernel attached. It's ground up wheatgrass juice. It's ground up with all kinds of other things. You want the juice extracted. Now you can extract it yourself, grow your own barley grass. When it's at 15 centimeters or 6 inches, you're going to cut it with a pair of scissors. It will grow back again. You don't want that little kernel to come out, and then you extract the juice. You need a specific masticating juicer, and you can make it yourself. I find that too much effort and too much PT. I just don't have the time, actually. I would if I was on a farm just farming and I had 10 kids all helping me, but I'm trying to run several businesses with my husband, and this is my passion, is nutrition and health and helping people like this. So it's just for me. I need the convenience. So I buy the dried juice from a company called AIM. I'll tell you a bit more about it now. Okay, so I drink that daily, every single day, with my essential fats. I'll tell you about it now. Replace with natural whole food, gluten-free grains, not processed stuff. Quinoa is not gluten-free. Rice is gluten-free. Polenta, corn grits, all gluten-free. Maize or corn on the cob, all gluten-free. Millet is gluten-free. Buckwheat is gluten-free. Rice and rice flour, I've already mentioned it, okay? All right, tool number 8, natural light and sun. I spoke to you about this. Natural light regulates your pineal gland and increases melatonin and serotonin. And these levels are balanced, so is your appetite. Low serotonin makes us crave carbohydrates. Low melatonin at night is what makes us not sleep. So if you exercise outdoors in natural light for 20 minutes, just go for a walk. Not a marathon. You don't have to time yourself. Just walk and just be comfortable. If you are walking and you, oh, I've got a stitch in the side, then you're walking too fast. Walk where your heart rate goes up and you perspire. That's it. You can measure your heart rate. You can do all of that. At the end of the day, it's important you just get moving. Don't have to wait. Go. Number 9, forgiveness. Let go and let God deal with them or it. If you don't let go and you won't forgive people, you block your journey to wellness and balanced weight. You really do. I've seen people just hold on to issues in their life because they're not letting go of things. They're just not. Now, some people find it easy to write it on a piece of paper and forgive a person and then burn the piece of paper, let it go in the wind. Some people want a little ceremony and they put it in a box and they bury it in the ground. Some people just go up to the person and say, I forgive you. And I once said that to somebody and they said, for what? I said, well, what I've read is forgiveness is for my benefit, not for their benefit. And in the good old book, it says forgive 70 times 7. That means every time you're reminded of the fact that this person did this thing, you just let it go again. Because people don't do things to you 70 times 7. It's your thoughts that make it do to you 70 times. You lie there and it goes round and round and round in your head all day and all night, and you can't sleep, and you're going to make yourself sick. You could lose weight, you could gain weight. It's stress, get rid of it. Forgive like you want to be forgiven. If you've done something wrong and you want somebody to forgive them, you forgive them like that before they ask you for it. Think of your life without having this weight of unforgiveness around your neck. Think about it. Just close your eyes right now and say, what would my life be like if I just let this weight go? Because I can tell you your health and your weight is going to stop being where it should be. Step number 10, water. Drink a glass of water before you eat or drink anything else. It promotes health and helps you discern the difference between thirst and hunger. Thirst and hunger is felt at the back of the throat. And very often when you think you're hungry, you're actually thirsty. So the best way to do this is to actually drink water before you eat or drink anything else. And then you'll know if it was thirst or hunger. If you're no longer hungry, sometimes I get on I'm just eating raisins because I'm busy working. My hand's kind of going like it's not thinking, no, I actually need water. So now I don't put the raisins on my desk, I put the water on my desk. And I realize I'm actually thirsty because once I've had it, I'm not hungry. And you're automatically taking in less less meals. You're taking in less energy value. So always drink a glass of water before you eat or drink anything. When you get up in the morning, you have a glass of water. I try not to drink a whole glass of water when I go to bed at night. I have a glass next to me, and if I wake up, I take a sip. Find out I drink the whole glass too close to bed, then I need to go to the bathroom at 2 in the morning, and I don't like that. So drink when you are hungry or thirsty. Always before you have a cup of tea or coffee, have a glass of water. Before you eat a chocolate, have a glass of water. Before you eat a meal, have a glass of water. One of the good things in America is they give you a glass of water before you do anything. Step 11 is chew, and chew again. You're like a puppy who just chews everything. Chew 15 times every mouthful. If you don't chew, you don't break down your food and you'll eat too much or simply not absorb enough nutrients. And so you're going to eat because you got all this whole food going through your digestive tract. And eating too fast is a problem with a lot of women because we have to work very fast to make sure that the children all have everything before the baby wakes up so that I can eat. And then you gobble your food because there's just so much pressure on you to be juggling all these balls. It's a common problem with girls. It's also common if you grew up without food. You eat fast. If you went to boarding school, you eat fast because everybody else is going to eat the food and there'll be nothing left for you. So it's so easy to get these things. So one of the ways to slow it down is count. Count on your fingers 15 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But chew. 2. Each count must be a chew with your jaw at least 15 times. And step 12, most important of all, is to make sure that your entire endocrine system is balanced. Okay, your endocrine system is your pituitary gland in the brain, the pineal glands in there as well. Even the hypothalamus is part of that. Your thyroid gland right here, if you don't have one, you have to take some form of medication, but it can be lower if you're eating well. Your parietal cells in the stomach help you to secrete hydrochloric acid to digest proteins, for example. You've got your thyroid, your parathyroid as well. I forgot about those. You've got your pancreas, which helps with blood sugar. You got your adrenal glands, which helps with blood sugar, blood pressure, and with stress management. And you've got your ovaries and your testes, and your appendix and your tonsils are part of that, but you can't separate that from your body. They all work together. And this system controls the thyroid, the adrenal glands, the water retention, slow metabolism, cellulite. Fact or fantasy? Some people don't believe in cellulite. Well, just undress and see when it's dimply. If it's not smooth and it's all dimply, it's cellulite. It's usually stored fat, but there's a lot of hormonal issues going on. If you've got cellulite, your hormonal system's out of balance. And then ghrelin and leptin are two hormones that everybody goes on about. They are part of the endocrine system. You will not produce enough. Ghrelin makes you bigger, makes you put on weight. Leptin helps you lose weight. So it will balance properly when your endocrine system is working properly. If you do all the other 11 steps that I just gave you, your endocrine system is going to work better. And there's some help. Well, let's just look at some of the issues that people come up with. The genetics. Is it a viable excuse? Oh, well, in our family, we all got thyroid problems. I inherited thyroid problems. I had the constipation, the dry skin. I had all the symptoms of the thyroid that doesn't work properly. Cold hands and feet, always. Changed my diet. I never have cold hands and feet, ever. I'm just getting to bed warm in winter and summer. I used to get into bed with such cold feet, Mark would actually say, don't touch me with your feet, don't touch me with your feet. So I started wearing bed socks. I don't need to do that anymore. We usually inherit the habits, and we know that nutrition controls genetic expression. So when your diet is right, it blocks the disease genes from actually expressing themselves. So if you've got high blood pressure and you're eating properly, you don't have high blood pressure. And how do I know that? Because I've worked with thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, including my own husband. His blood pressure was 160 over 110 at the age of 19. And he's 70 this year. His blood pressure is 100 over 75 on a bad day. That's what it is most of the time. And what changed? Just his diet. He was always exercising. He just changed his diet. I've seen with people that are type 2 diabetes, change your diet. It's in the family, it's in Mark's family, type 2 diabetes as well. At the end of the day, nutrition controls the genetic expression. If you just put any garbage into your body, you're going to get the genetic diseases that you have. If your whole family's overweight, you change the way you eat, you change your genetic expression because it stops the disease genes from expressing themselves. Some extra focus on health. You need to stabilize your blood sugar. It helps to regulate your appetite. All the things, those 12 steps will help to stabilize it. Clean your bowels out and you'll balance your gut bacteria, and that'll improve your nutrient absorption. You may need to use some herbal products. I'm going to recommend some that you might want to try. And if you want to know where to get those, speak to the person that invited you. If nobody invited you and you just came via our newsletter, just email us. Email info@wholewell.com and you'll get answered. Improved endocrine function, essential fats and barley grass juice, very essential for the endocrine system. I found those two things really, really help. The 30-day detox repeated 2 to 3 times with the particular products I'm going to tell you about now, particularly the essential fatty acids in the barley grass juice and the flora food, sorts out the thyroid function within 3 months. It's wonderful to see. Help for detox problem symptoms. There's things that can help you with aches and pains, and there's help with bladder and kidneys and detox symptoms. It's very normal for your body to step up its detoxification when you're eating a pure diet. So you'll find you'll urinate more, it might burn, it might be a funny color, it could smell weird. You could have diarrhea one day, and then the next day your stomach, it's like irritable bowel syndrome and everything's clogged up because your body's getting rid of all the, as my mother would say, SH1T that has been accumulating in your body over a lifetime. Your body stores things in fat, wraps things in fat that it can't deal with, whether it's medication or pollution or chemicals or heavy metals, and it puts them away in places far away from your vital organs, like on your hips, on your butt, on your thighs, on your calves, could even be on your big toe, okay? These are some of the products to stabilize your blood sugar. Things like exercise, healthy eating, including plenty of fresh food. But this particular product, Glucopro, contains something called Gymnema sylvestre, and bitter melon, and chromium, and they're all known to actually help stabilize blood sugar and help the pancreas function efficiently. It's a fantastic product for stabilizing blood sugar if you've got blood sugar problems. I know type 2 diabetics who use this. I know type 1 diabetics, and I know people who are pre-diabetic have used it, and I know people that are just detoxing find it just keeps their blood sugar stable and they don't feel like woozy or tired. Herbal fiber blend is something that cleans out all old fecal matter. The average person walks around with between 1 and 12 kilograms times 2.24 pounds. It's like 24 pounds at least, if not more. 1 to 10 kilograms of old fecal matter is what? Times 2.2. So that would be 2.2 pounds to 22 pounds. It's 22 pounds of old fecal matter. And when you take herbal fiber blend, the first day I took it, I went to the bathroom about 5 times. I didn't have diarrhea. I just had bulk coming out. And that went on for 3 or 4 days. And I've been eating a very high alkaline forming diet for 10 years before that. I thought, well, this stuff's not going to make any difference in me. Cleans out the colon so you're able to absorb your nutrients well. But herbal fiber blend also contains a lot of water soluble fiber, which has a very stabilizing effect on your blood sugar. So it has a double effect in that it stabilizes blood sugar and cleans out your colon. And you will find a lot of bulky stool movements. Very pleasant process. Some people would say they want to live on it, and you can if you want to. But really, you just need to finish the first bottle. And once you clean out your colon and you carry on eating well, your body's fine. I keep herbal fiber blend in my stomach in case I go to a restaurant or somebody's house and I have diarrhea or constipation from eating something. Like the time I ate that square, I suddenly realized, oops, I can take herbal fiber blend for this next time. If I have to taste something and it's a little bit dodgy, I'm going to make sure that I take the herbal fiber blend. Herbal fiber blend cleans out your colon. The flora food, what I love about that, supports the body's microbiome. They both maintain digestive health. They encourage the right bacteria. Herbal fiber blends got that water-soluble fiber, which feeds your good bacteria, balances the intestinal pH, promotes balanced intestinal flora, helps produce vitamins, the B vitamins, particularly 1, B3, B6, B12, may help maintain healthy cholesterol levels, and flora food contains 3 billion live cells per capsule, guaranteed at the time of expiration. They usually last, I think it's a 2 to 5 year expiration there. Barley Life, I take that with the Omega, which you'll see over the page, particularly for the endocrine system. It's made from sprouted barley grass, and it contains a vitamin E succinate. It's a precursor to vitamin E, which actually helps the pituitary gland to function efficiently, and the pituitary gland controls your endocrine system, which is the system that controls all your hormones and your appetite and your metabolism. Very important for me. I take this every day. I have been taking it since November 1999. I have not stopped taking it. I stopped for 3 months once, and I thought, oh, I'm feeling fantastic. I don't need this anymore. And after 3 months, what happened is I was going through menopause. I started getting hot flushes. I'm like, this isn't right. Stop taking this and Omega. And I went back onto my Barley Life and my Omega, and literally within 24 hours, the hot flushes were gone. Clearly, when you go through menopause, you're needing extra nutrients. I live in a world that's polluted. I live in quite a windy place. The wind does blow away a lot of it, but not all of it. There are apple farmers and grape farmers over the mountain behind our property, and those sprays drift over the mountain. And if the wind's not here, like today, there's no wind, I am breathing it in. So I take Barley Life to help me neutralize. Chlorophyll helps to neutralize heavy metals. It's just an all-over health thing for me. It helps get rid of the heavy metals. It increases overall energy. It improves endocrine function. It helps to alkalinize. I didn't spell that right. Alkalinize the body naturally. It's very, very alkaline in the body. So you find you get increased energy. You find that mid-afternoon slump just goes away. Contains an enzyme called superoxide dismutase, which is one of the most powerful antioxidants, also known as SOD, and delivers lutein and saponirin, 2 very powerful antioxidants, as well as lutein and zeaxanthin, which is needed for eyesight improvement. Each serving provides 22.4 milligrams of chlorophyll. Also contains very high levels of calcium. It's very high in natural iron. 1 tablespoon is about the same as 6.24 cups of barley leaves. So if you have to make it yourself, you need 6.24 cups of barley leaves to make your own. And eliminates the task of juicing, and it's pesticide free. All right, Amiga, I take this with my Bali Life every single day. I take it to prevent dry eyes, which I get when I don't take it. I get hot flushes when I don't take it. I find my libido stays intact. When you get older, that can go away if you're not getting enough essential fatty acids. You can be young with no libido. You can have dry skin, dry eyes. It's essential for thyroid function. Your endocrine system needs it. It combats inflammation, but it's very, very, very important in that it actually helps the endocrine system work properly. And then there's a product with herbs in it called Composure. I said, just ask your Game Changer where you can get this. You can buy it directly from the company at the wholesale price. They'll be able to tell you where to get it. It's in different countries, and you can get it in most English-speaking countries. This really helps with detoxification. When you go on a natural diet, you get some headaches, and you have a bit of pain, and you feel a little bit uncomfortable. You take 2 or 3 Composure, and it just makes you relax. Combination of calming herbs, natural stress reliever, day and night, and it helps with neurological health, and it promotes natural sleep patterns, which will help when you're sleeping properly. Your body weight is stable. And then if you have any bladder issues, this is just pure cranberry juice. It's called cranberry, but it's pure cranberry juice dried in a capsule. That's a veggie capsule. So it's totally fine for vegans. It's just dried. Cranberry juice is super sour, okay? And very often they sweeten it. So this is a dried cranberry juice in powder form, and it's just fantastic for bladder infections, burning urine, anything. It just helps to maintain healthy bacterial balance in your urinary tract and even in your digestive tract. So when all the tools are in use, you'll have the perfect weight and perfect health. It's basically it. Your weight will be where it's meant to be. You don't need a chart. You don't need a scale. You don't need anything else. And you'll have amazing health. And I know I struggled for years trying to get like this. How much time, money have I spent on trying to regulate my weight? If I think of it, between Scarsdale, Atkins, oh my word, the Mayo Clinic diet, the Beverly Hills diet. What are the diets that I go on? The grapefruit diet, the drinking man's diet. Oh, there's way more today. These are all old ones. Okay, really dates me. If you want to do something while you're sitting there, just list the diets. Just write them down or put them into your cell phone and use a pen. Use a good old-fashioned pen and just write down all the diets you've been in, all the memberships of the clubs you've joined, all the gadgets you've bought, all the special foods, because you don't need any of those. And you can look at that list and say, I don't need this stuff anymore, okay? Most important is we need hope. Because Thomas Carlyle said, he who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. And after 30 years of working with people and guiding them to take control of their health and attain perfect health, we have found that there are many problem areas. Once you have tools to apply and some basic understanding, you'll make better choices and become second nature. You just do it. It's like falling off a log. You just do it. You know why they say fall off a log? Because if you fall off a log, most people hurt themselves. It just becomes easy. And it's just, you've got this track. You've got a track to follow now. You know what you have to do to have amazing health and amazing weight. What having a track to run on or a personal blueprint to work with for life is to help you not stray too far from where your health is ideal, okay? You want to be in that place. So you've got the track, you might stray, but you get back on. And when you do that, you're healthy and you'll be hope for everyone. It doesn't matter what your background is, okay? The ideal route to get there, if I had to say to you, what should you do? I'd say start with 100 Days to Health. It's 15 weekly Zoom sessions. You get an email from me with instructions every single day. Beginning of every week, you can start your week on any day. You get instructions for the week, and then you get more and recipes, and then you get recipes every day, one extra recipe every day. You get a health tip and some inspiration every single day. And people have said to me, they feel like they know me and like I'm talking to them and encouraging them. And that's what I want to do. Your daily support on social media from your Game Changer. The Game Changer is the person that introduced you to this program. If you're not with the Game Changer, info@wholeworldwell.com. Okay. When you get onto the 100 days, you get a PDF copy, which is a virtual copy or a copy that you can print off your own computer of Perfect Health, which is very important. And you read a chapter at every section. I'll tell you, read this chapter now so that you start understanding your body. And you get a food combining chart, full food combining chart at the back of the book. And then you also get the full food combining chart, which you can print. And then I suggest you follow the 30-day detox. So if it's your weight you're trying to regulate up or over, 100 days to health to understand your body, then you do the 30-day detox. It won't be too drastic. You won't have terrible symptoms. You've got another 5 weeks of Zoom after that with daily support, and you get copies of Perfect Weight, which is the book that really explains how important your endocrine system is and how it needs to work. Very easy. That's the ideal route to go, okay? Remember that 84% give up with no community or support. You need to join our tribe, get the support you need, and bring on friends and family. You know what I say? Take this webinar today and send it to all the people you know and say, get on board with me. I need your help. Come on, help me. I need help. Please help me. I need you to help me. I can't do this on my own. And form your own community. You could become a game changer just by completing the 100 days to help. You could be the game changer managing all your friends and family. You can go on social media if you don't have friends and family. You can email everybody on your social media website and say, everybody, get on this program with me. I need you to do it. I need you to be on the journey. You're my tribe. I want you to do it with me. I want you to all be well with me. Just send it to everybody and say, do this with me. We've seen thousands in the last 30 years reach exceptional levels of health. This is what the program can do. We'll save thousands of dollars, pounds, rands, whatever country you come from, your currency, thousands. We had a letter from a guy who saved 80,000 euros. And he listed all the things he was spending money on. And it was over several years. He said, I've saved 80,000 euros. This is what this was costing me to not be well. So transform your health, and you look back on this day as a turning point. You'll have energy all the time. You'll be able to focus on your passion. You'll do your best to be an awesome parent, partner, and associate. And getting healthy and staying healthy will help you be successful in business and in relationships. You know, I could weep when I see people struggling in their relationships and they're having caffeine and alcohol and sugar and heated fats and junk foods, and your brain is being addled by this stuff. And then you've got this added disadvantage of carrying the extra weight, and you're not feeling you're feeling uncomfortable, and you don't want to have intimacy in the bedroom because you're feeling overweight, and you don't feel good about yourself, and your self-esteem is down there, and then you're just fighting all the time, and all you need to do is get healthy. You just need to get on the 100 days and add healthy stuff to your existing diet. And I tell you what to eat every week. I tell you, week 1, you're going to eat some raw food before your cooked food. And I tell you how to do it, and I give you recipes to dip things into if you don't like raw vegetables. Like chili pesto and guacamole and hummus, easy things. They're quick. You just throw it in the blender, push the button, and it's delicious. Chili pesto, delicious. Delicious. I don't even like chilies, and I love our chili pesto. It's full of flavor. It's so delicious. Honestly, you get over 100 recipes just on the 100 days. And you get another like 30 or 40 recipes on the 30 days. Huge amounts of recipes, okay? Great ideas. And if I can't make it in 15 minutes, the recipe is not on the sheet, okay? You'll have energy. You'll transform your health, and you'll look back on this day as a turning board. You'll have energy all the time. You'll be able to focus on your passion and your purpose. Not just your passion. What's your passion and your purpose? Making the world a better place. It becomes so easy. You start having so much energy, it's actually irritating to be around people that aren't on the same program, because you've got so much more energy than them, and your head is crystal clear, and you just want to go, and you've got ideas, and it's a beautiful place to be. But you're not crazy with it. You're just calm. It's wonderful. You want to be your best, to be an awesome parent partner, okay? Beautiful relationships. So now the regular price with everything included that I've mentioned here is less than half the cost of the real value. Listed on Whole World Well, we listed at $300. It's $100 or $97 for the 30-day detox, and $197 for the 100 days to health. We have a special for the next 24 hours only. It's $30 for the 30 days and $100 for the 100 days, which makes it $130. You are saving a lot of money here. $170. I kid you not. It's a huge saving. So I'm telling you, take this webinar. Mark's going to send it to all of you in the next hour. He's going to send it out to all of you. You send it to everybody you know, social media, send it to everybody, because this offer has never happened. you can ask your game changer. They've never had this. I'm just on such a mission to get the whole world well. I want to reach 1 million people by the end of 2025. I've got 2 years to get there, and you've got to help me. We're going to get as many people as we can. Just send it. We've got 24 hours. Just tell me we've got 24 hours to get the special price. Sign up now, 24 hours. That's what you've got. We will give you 24 hours, and we'll, if I know Mark, he'll probably switch it off late Sunday night. So you'll probably get another couple of hours out of him. But there is no more. You can't suddenly say, oh, my friend was away on holiday and they didn't sign up. You get a hold of them on holiday and you tell them to sign up. This is the special, and we're not repeating it, okay? You do it, and you join me, and I will help you to get healthy, and in the process, you'll gain your health, and you'll lose or gain the weight that you need to lose or gain. I can promise you that. If you do what I tell you to do, your body will get to where it needs to be. I will promise you that. Unless you've removed half your organs and you're in a wheelchair and your spine has been, broken in several places, you're not going to get back to where being totally whole. But I'll tell you now, you're going to sleep better, your bowels will work better, and you will have more energy. I have never found anybody who follows these principles who does not improve 100% wherever they are. Never seen it. People say to me, I never knew I could even feel like this. I thought I was okay. You might think you're okay, but you're not. You might think, well, listen, I don't know what's not to like about this. It is so easy. I'm here to help you. Hold your hand. You're getting 15 weeks plus another 5 weeks. That's 20 weeks. That's almost half a year. You're going to get almost half a year of regular input from me. I'm going to be answering your questions. I'm not going to answer them tonight. I'm going to be answering your questions in the Zoom sessions. You can come with the sessions. You can bring your family questions. People bring their family questions. My husband wants to know. My daughter wants to know. You can ask those questions there, and of course share your wonderful successes like we've shared some of the testimonies today. I'm going to say, God bless you. Make sure that you get it signed up. Send this to all and sundry. This is the big opportunity. Sort your health out. Sort your weight out. Stop playing games and get on with being your best self. I'm here to help you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you either on Wednesdays or Thursdays, whichever time slot suits you. If you're one of our students, I see you, or our game changers, I see you on Tuesday evenings, and look forward to seeing you, and look forward to. It's an honor and a privilege to help you, and I'm here to help you. God bless you. Stay well. I'm going to leave that, but I'll leave that up, but I'm going to get myself out of here, just get myself off the